Okay, everybody, this one is about common law jural assemblies. This is our remedy, or one of them. First of all, I'm not a liar. Well, I meant a lawyer or an attorney. So you should never take my word for anything. All attorneys are liars by definition. So watch my video. Anyways, you should always do your own research. I provided references to aid you in your research, but I don't know everything, and I'm open to any ideas. Copies of these documents can be found in my private group at Yahoo called Administrating Your Public Servants. For a complete set of YouTube videos with private information shares, a DVD with over 50 searchable law dictionaries, and other books and forms, contact me privately at engineerwin@yahoo.com. And donations to support this work are appreciated. I prefer gold or silver coin, but as an extremely less desirable alternative, I can accept the military script, the fake money, the IOUs, the Federal Reserve notes, the PayPal gifts, the checks, the money orders, etc. Send me an email for particulars. The judicial power is the power to hear those matters which affect life, liberty, or property of citizens of the state. The very meaning of sovereignty is that the decree of the sovereign makes law. Okay, we the people make the law, and we do that through our juries. Sovereignty itself is, of course, not subject to law, for it is the author and source of law. But in our system, while sovereign powers are delegated to the agencies of government, sovereignty itself remains with the people, by whom and for whom all government exists and acts. A sovereign is exempt from suit not because of any formal conception or obsolete theory, but on the logical and practical ground that there can be no legal right as against the authority that makes the law on which the right depends. And so again, we the people make the law. We the people are the law. At the Revolution, the sovereignty devolved on the people, and they are truly the sovereigns of the country, but they are sovereigns without subjects and have none to govern but themselves. The citizens of America are equal as fellow citizens and joint tenants in the sovereignty. And because it brings into action and enforces this great and glorious principle that the people are the sovereign of this country, and consequently that fellow citizens and joint sovereigns cannot be degraded by appearing with each other in their own courts to have their controversies determined. Well said, Supreme Court. Judges cannot make law. Judges can only compare a given case or other similar cases and make a ruling based on what other courts have done. That's called stare decisis. If there's a case that has not been previously decided, then they have to convene a jury of we the people. And it actually has happened in 1802. Stare decisis is the doctrine of precedent, under which it's necessary for a court to follow earlier judicial decisions when the same points arise again in litigation. The rule of adherence to judicial precedents finds its expression in the doctrine of stare decisis. Some people say stare decisis. This doctrine is simply that when a point or principle of law has been once officially decided or settled by the ruling of a competent court in a case in which it is directly and necessarily involved, it will no longer be considered as open to examination. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow me on Steemit at Sovereignty International. Don't forget to like this video on YouTube. Don't forget to click the bell next to the subscribe button so you're notified when there's a new upload. On Steemit, don't forget to vote and make your comments. And I also have a BitChute profile. This is the front page of my channel. The subscribe button's already clicked, otherwise it'd be red. And the arrow is pointing at the bell. And the bell does not look like it's vibrating, therefore it needs to be clicked. When you click on the bell, sometimes a pop-up comes up and it says you have to check the box and click OK to be notified. Sometimes it just automatically starts vibrating, which means you're being notified. Anyways, there's a guy by the name of Mark Passio, who's a former Satanist priest. He's got a lot of natural law videos. Brilliant guy. He talks about the pillars of Satanism. This is all Satanism is what we're seeing. It's because we, the people, are asleep at the wheel. Anyways, one of the pillars of Satanism is moral relativism. There's no absolute right or wrong. Truth is relative. We just make up what's right or wrong. What's right or wrong is what we decide today, and tomorrow it'll be something else. Gee, that sounds like a court case. 2/3 of people believe in moral relativism. 2/3 of the people in America are practicing Satanists, according to Passio. And I think he's right. Some more pillars of Satanism is survival is the highest law of Satanism. Social Darwinism, certain classes of society think they're most fit to rule. Postulates the survival of the most socially ruthless. Ultimate responsibility is self-preservation. Eugenics, where the elite get to determine who lives or dies. This is all pillars of Satanism. And one of the pillars of Satanism that we're going to talk about right now is order followers. They're responsible for all of the atrocities in history. They just follow orders without thinking about whether it's a lawful order or not. They're willing slaves. And this is Mark Passio's YouTube channel. I highly recommend it. Brilliant guy. He's got a lot of very interesting. Had to take Latin in high school. And so he learns about some of these words and where they come from. Anyways, the order followers, there was World War II war crimes tribunals is a good example of order followers. All the Nazis claimed they were just following orders. They either suffered death by hanging or spent the rest of their life in jail. Some of them are still hunted to this day. And the Vietnam, the My Lai massacre, they were convicted of murder. Today, order followers are everywhere. When did these guys become these guys? You want some of this? Go ahead, report me. We'll see who'll be at your front steps. Order followers. Land of the formerly free, obey the American police state. Say no to a police state. There's some order followers doing a demonstration. And there's some more order followers. Let's see, that was Boston. Boston order followers. And there's another order followers doing the New World Police, Gestapo. There's some more order followers. There's some more order followers. Predator or protector? It's more like predator. Martial law, when you think about it, it's more about job security than anything else. That's right. That's exactly what it is. It's order followers. Warning, this is the standing army you were told not to tolerate. More order followers. Of course, they don't want to be seen. They don't mind beating someone up and then letting them be seen. Oh, and another police brutality. A lot like ordinary brutality, really, but the bullshit charges laid against you just to cover their beating asses. And that's true. They'll charge him with assault. That's what these order followers Satanists do. Protect, serve, and get away with it. Police everywhere, justice nowhere. That's a fact. Do you feel safe? Can you spot the terrorists? Terrorism is a noun, the use of violence and intimidation in pursuit of political aims. There's a whole bunch of terrorists right there. They're all order followers. That awkward moment when you realize that the same government that's supposed to protect us from the terrorists is the terrorists. And that's exactly right. And it's time that we, the people, started to stand up and convene our Jural Assemblies and put these people on trial. Number of Americans killed by terrorists since 9/11, 33. Number of Americans killed by police since 9/11, over 5,000. It's time we, the people, started putting our Jural Assemblies together and put them on trial. Murder, theft, rape, kidnapping, and assault are wrong until I put on my magic suit. Pull over, your tail light's out. Some more order followers. To those who think a police state could never happen in America, wake up. No sudden moves. Just drop the weapon into the bucket and put your hands up. They screen out intelligent people in the hiring process for their Leos. Jordan versus City of New London, U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit, case number 99-9188. Robert Jordan had a master's degree and scored too high on their intelligence test. This is the ABC News article. Let's get in a little closer. A man whose bid to become a police officer was rejected after he scored too high on an intelligence test, has lost an appeal in his federal lawsuit against the city. Help! A violent psychopath is trying to kill me. Please direct him to our website to download a job application. Order followers, officers in Rialto, California are now required to wear video cameras while on duty. In 1 year, the use of force has dropped 60% and complaints have dropped by 88%. Have you had enough of the order followers, or do you need to be abused some more? That's really what it comes down to. Have you had enough, or do you need to be abused some more? Because that's exactly what's going to happen if you don't start organizing and standing up for yourself. My blog is sovereigntyinternational.wordpress.com. My website is sovereigntyinternational.fyi. My email address is engineerwin@yahoo.com. My YouTube profile is Sovereign Living. My Facebook community page I deleted it due to censorship on the part of Facebook. My private group on Facebook, Sovereignty International, is being deleted. It takes time to ban 17,000 people off your group, and I'm not going to let Facebook profit from my hard work. My Yahoo private group is called Administrating Your Public Servants. My Google private group is called Administrating Your Public Servants. Follow me on Twitter at Engineer Win. Follow me on Steemit at Sovereignty International. And I've got a BitChute profile, but they won't let me upload big videos, so a lot of my videos are big. Anyways, when acting to enforce a statute and its subsequent amendments to the present date, the judge of municipal court is acting as an administrative officer, not in a judicial capacity. You think that's a judge? Courts administrating or enforcing statutes do not act judicially, but merely ministerially, but merely as an extension, as an agent for the involved agency, but only in a ministerial and not a discretionary capacity. He's a bought and paid for clerk. Judge works for the state, prosecutor works for the state, the pig works for the state. The vast majority of the disputes that the pigs initiate on behalf of their employer are also adjudicated by their employer, where the plaintiff, the judge, the antagonist, the pigs, and the only witness, also the pigs, all represent the same party, and since no corpus delicti, mens rea, or acts reus can be produced, doesn't technically qualify to be heard according to its laws. The state, therefore, is indistinguishable from a criminal cartel. You think that's a judge? It is the accepted rule not only in state courts but in the federal courts as well that when a judge is enforcing administrative law, they are described as mere extensions of the administrative agency for superior reviewing purposes as a bought and paid for clerk. Law enforcement officers enforce statutes. Enforce. You are being forced. Law enforcement officers are not peace officers. Law enforcement officers are operating in their private capacity. Do you know why I'm stopping you? Well, officer, a crime requires an injured party. Seeing as there isn't one, I can assume you're attempting to manufacture my consent to a contract with the state's corporate policy in order to generate revenue as part of a racketeering scam. That's exactly what's going on. We, the people, need to start forming our Jural Assemblies and put a stop to this. Things that you see every day using the satanic philosophy of moral relativism are false flag operations, the end justifies the means, agent provocateurs, the end justifies the means, entrapment, end justifies the means. All court cases is a kangaroo court unless it's a common law court. It's satanic. The judge is a bought and paid for a clerk playing stupid, working for the prosecutor. If you don't know the law or fail to do something properly or follow the right procedure, they sell you into slavery. They have no authority. They use their unconstitutional commercial codes. It's Satanism, folks. It's about time you woke up. Now, grand juries originated in the Bible and continued with Section 61 of the Magna Carta. Your state constitution and the Roman cult statutes define the powers of their grand jury, but you don't need to follow it. We, the people, can do anything we want within limits. U.S. attorneys must recognize that the grand jury is an independent body whose functions include not only the investigation of the crime and the initiation of criminal prosecution, but also the protection of citizenry from unfounded criminal charges. That's the U.S. Attorney's Manual. The manual recognizes that targets of investigation have the right and can request or demand the opportunity to tell the grand jury their side of the story. U.S. Attorney's Manual. The Supreme Court states that an independent grand jury's purpose is not only to investigate possible criminal conduct, but to act as a protector of citizens against arbitrary and oppressive governmental action. And to perform its functions, the independent grand jury deliberates in secret and may determine alone the course of its inquiry. An independent grand jury is to stand between the prosecutor and the accused, and to determine whether a charge is legitimate or is dictated by malice or personal ill will. The grand jury is to protect citizens against hasty, malicious, and oppressive prosecution, and to ensure that prosecutions are not dictated by an intimidating power or by malice and personal ill will. The independent grand jury is described as a body with powers of investigation and inquisition, the scope of whose inquiries are not to be limited narrowly by questions of propriety or forecasts of probable result of the investigation. Without thorough and effective investigation, the grand jury would be unable either to ferret out crimes deserving of prosecution or to screen out charges without warranting prosecution. My subscription channels, vid.me shut down on the 15th of December, and YouTube channel called Sovereignty International is deleted. I made my exclusive content available on my website. I have 2 subscription levels, and I accept cryptocurrencies. The basic subscription level, the donation for a basic subscription is $29.99 a year for videos only. And the donation for the platinum subscription level is $49.99 a year for the videos plus unlimited consultations. Now, I am limited as to what I can do for consultations because I am not a liar. Well, I meant an attorney. No, I meant a liar because they're all liars. But I can't tell you what I would do and where to find the forms. People on other previous subscription plans will remain on that plan as long as they renew it. I have, now as far as the unlimited consultations is concerned, it does not include phone calls, it does not include babysitting, it does not include preparing documents or reviewing documents. And an example of babysitting is something that happened recently where I went and showed someone their address that they're, with a zip code exempt and general post office, and then the first words out of their mouth is, should I use that address in my regular dealings? And my answer to that is it the truth or is it a lie? If it's the truth, then yes. If it's a lie, then you're engaged in fraud and you're a criminal. Does not include preparing documents or reviewing documents. The only power that these New World Order Satanists have over us is through fraud and deception, and my agenda is to expose it for all our benefit, but I cannot fight all the battles. I need other people being on point, and we need to convene some common law juries. I might need some justice at some point. I need common law juries. We all do. So if you want to subscribe as a donation, then great. It's a modest donation. There's no doubt about it, but it's appreciated. And so every little bit helps. I'm currently publishing 1 video a week. The top video is where the videos are. You can actually go to my website, and there's a page with all the videos listed and organized by categories. Makes them easy to find, and so you can study by topics. And the bottom link is where subscribers can log in. Some of my exclusive content is bar members number 4, Arlington Private Information Share, which is 9 videos by itself. Land deed training, there's a couple videos there. Estoppel certificates training, foreclosure estoppel certificates training, corporate denial training, toll roads notice and demand training, invoice training, notice of void judgment training. Also, revocation of signature training, third-party witness training, federal habeas corpus training, revocation of voter registration training, criminal complaint training, and there's a couple videos on criminal complaint training, and there's going to be more depending on, you know, things that come up. And lawsuit training is in the works. There's going to be multiple videos of that as well. And then other training, any requests. All forms, files, and other instructions are available for free on my 2 private groups at Yahoo Groups and Google Groups. All exclusive content is available on my website, and you can buy a subscription there. So if you want to buy a subscription just as a means of doing a donation, there's a modest donation, there's no doubt about it, but everything is appreciated, and a whole bunch of people chipping in a little bit adds up pretty fast. I prefer dangerous freedom over peaceful slavery. And this is actually a U.S. case. Scalia is the one that wrote the deciding opinion, and I'm going to have a bunch of stuff on this case because it was really a big case, and it says so much. As a matter of fact, I highly recommend you get this case and read it in its entirety because it speaks volumes. Anyways, one of the things it says, because the grand jury is an institution separate from the courts over whose functioning the courts do not preside, we think it clear that as a general matter, at least no such supervisory judicial authority exists. Rooted in long centuries of Anglo-American history, the grand jury is mentioned in the Bill of Rights, but not in the body of the Constitution. It has not been textually assigned, therefore, to any of the branches described in the first 3 articles. It is a constitutional fixture in its own right. So the grand jury is on its own. In fact, the whole theory of its function in that it belongs to no branch of the institutional government, serving as a kind of buffer or referee between the government and the people. Again, that's United States versus Williams. Although the grand jury normally, Scalia is the one that wrote this decision. Although the grand jury normally operates, of course, in the courthouse and under judicial auspices, its institutional relationship with the judicial branch has traditionally been, so to speak, at arm's length. Judges' direct involvement in the functioning of the grand jury has generally been confined to the constitutive one of calling the grand jurors together and administering their oaths of office, and that is it. The grand jury's functional independence from the judicial branch is evident both in the scope of its power to investigate criminal wrongdoing and in the manner in which that power is exercised. Recognizing this tradition of independence, we have said the Fifth Amendment's constitutional guarantee presupposes an investigative body acting independent of either prosecuting attorney or judge. That's why when one of these BAAL priests in their kangaroo courts, where you can get 26 people to walk in there, that judge will get up and leave, or that so-called judge, that clerk masquerading as a judge because he knows what's coming. Check out my other videos: Bankster Thieves playlist, Roman Cult playlist, Bankrupt Corporate So-Called Governments, bar members 1 through 4 now, actually, do-it-yourself, how not to volunteer for the selected service in the draft, martial laws here, do-it-yourself, no income tax, do-it-yourself, free mail, do-it-yourself, kangaroo courts 1 through 15, Canada Border Pigs playlist, bar members and their Satanic Connections playlist. So, Jural Assemblies, you have 2 choices. You can organize yourself into Jural Assemblies, or you can continue with the same routine, but you can expect to continue to be abused, assaulted, kidnapped, sold into slavery, property stolen, and murdered. Okay, so your choice, that's your choice. Organize yourself into Jural Assemblies, or just continue to plan on it. Plan on getting abused, assaulted, kidnapped, sold into slavery, property stolen, and murdered. That's your choice. The Texas Jural Assembly conference call is calls every first and third Tuesday nights at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. The call-in number is 605-472-5552, and the access code is 569711#. The National Assembly website is right there. And then the National Assembly Forums is also right there. And the de facto to de jure handbook. Roll call is every Thursday evening at 8 p.m. Central Time. First hour of business and then the second hour is General Tratton Education, and that's the number to call and the access code. So the choice is get involved with these Jural Assemblies so we can start putting these criminals on trial. I'm sure everybody has a case they want to bring, and you can see how the juries work, and if you don't have a case, you will. I guarantee you will. At the end of this video, I'll show you an existing case where a common law jury made a decision and the defendant brought into the de facto courts and it was dismissed as res judicata, which means that they can't override a common law jury. It's not open to appeal. Give me liberty or give me death after he witnessed, that's Patrick Henry, after he witnessed a man flogged to death for refusing to take a license. All he had to do was convene a common law jury. Of course, after he's dead, it's kind of hard. Of course, witnesses to the crime could, but you need the name of the pig. It behooves every man who values liberty of conscience for himself to resist invasions of it in the case of others, or their case may, by change of circumstance, become his own. And that's well said, Thomas Jefferson. If you fail to educate people about jury nullification, about common law juries, about jural assemblies, then karma says that you'll get a jury of idiots and you will get assaulted more and more. Obviously, you need to get assaulted. Get assaulted, kidnapped, falsely imprisoned until you decide to stand up for yourself. If you love wealth better than liberty, the tranquility of servitude better than the animating contest of freedom, go home from us in peace. We ask not your counsel or arms. Crouch down and lick the hands which feed you. May your chains set lightly upon you, and may our posterity forget that you were ever our countrymen. Well said, Samuel Adams. When shall it be said, in any country of the world my poor are happy, neither ignorance or distress is to be found among them. My jails are empty of prisoners, my streets of beggars, the aged are not in want, the tax is not oppressive, the irrational world is my friend, because I am a friend of its happiness. When these things can be said, then may that country boast of its constitution and government. We have nothing to boast of here, but it's because we the people are asleep at the wheel. But if the watchmen see the sword come and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned of the sword come, and take any person from among them, he's taken in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at the watchman's hands. Either you're part of the problem or you're part of the solution. You're now a watchman. Circulate this video far and wide. We need to all start convening our jural assemblies to start putting these criminals on trial. Thanks for watching, and upcoming is a video on I'm going to go through this court case, and you'll see the actual case and the decision and the attachments. It's about 40 pages of attachments because it's got the proceedings with the common law jury and everything. Okay, this is cause number, if you look here, cause number 95-07735. This is the 14th District Judicial District in Dallas. Okay, so this happened in 1995. This is the actual order of dismissal, and it was this WFAA-TV that was the plaintiff. They were trying to get this case vacated, and this Fr. Johnny Johnston, Wilkins, Lakeview Developers, Lakeview Cemetery, and this is the order of dismissal. And so it is hereby ordered that this cause of action is hereby dismissed for lack of jurisdiction, since the subject matter has previously been adjudicated and res judicata does apply and bars this action. And this is the 19th of September 1995. So that's, now let's look at what there's a whole bunch of attachments in this, and this is actually a certified copy. October 1st, 9th day of October 2014. This is a certified copy. And so then here's the docket. Republic of Texas, R1 Supreme Court, common law venue, original and exclusive jurisdiction. Okay. See, even the Supreme Court, that's one thing the Supreme Court said with that Scalia case, is that even the Supreme Court is inferior to common law courts. Common law courts are superior jurisdiction, and the rest of the courts are all inferior. And so we make the law. Remember it said that, okay? So this is anyways the filings into this case. This is this is the decision. Private judgment lien notice. And the people for the United States of America, Fr. Johnny Johnson, the plaintiff, and this television channel, to all subdivisions of the appellate jurisdiction of the Supreme Court of the United States et al., to all financing institutions, United States and their agents, subjects to all UCC 1 true bill or UCC 4 affidavit, and the commercial lien. And so they went and filed a commercial lien affidavit of finding of facts and judgment, people in and for the United States of America, for Ellis County, Texas, Republic, after reviewing the evidence and hearing testimony, hereby attest and acknowledge the finding of facts to be true, correct, certain, relevant against the defendants of this judgment, and as follows. The plaintiff, Johnny Johnson, being a Freeman character, did charge defendants for fraudulently wrongdoing, and did send September 7, 1994, via certified mail contract to the defendants, one complete set of two original documents identical to each other in every way, and the other retained by Fr. Johnny Johnston, which we, the jury, have reviewed, and state of the form common law. Private agreement means bargained of the juries, and some of it's kind of hard to read. Anyways, defendants failed to respond and have admitted being guilty. Private judgment and decree, after due declaration and finding of facts, are Supreme Court exclusive to the people, by order of the people, in and for the United States of America, for Ellis County, Texas Republic, finds the private judgment lien decree of looks like $1 billion in silver coin. Ouch. Ouch. They're bankrupt. I don't think they got $1 billion in silver. I don't know if there is a billion. 1 billion ounces of silver is what they're saying. Anyways, so then what happens, see, here's where they pass the evidence around, and these were all the jurors, okay? So there's 12 jurors, and they're saying yes, because they reviewed the evidence. The evidence was presented, and they're saying they reviewed it. They reviewed it. And so there's a procedure you have to follow. And that's the important thing to understand here, is that there's a procedure, and we all need to make sure we follow these procedures to make it legitimate. You don't want to be sitting there wasting your time all day. So they're following this procedure. This page is upside down. Yeah, it looks like it's what they're tallying up what the damages are. Oh, and they're showing 5 and 6 what the damages are. Boom Newspapers, 5 million? No. Yeah, that's 5 million. Anyways, so they're going through and showing what the damages are. This is the United States Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit. And so they attach this, it looks like. As an exhibit. It isn't directly involved in this case. They probably attached it because the decision was relevant. Common Law Court, Ensminger Bank, versus Farm Credit of Wichita. After examining the briefs and the appellate record, this panel has determined unanimously that oral argument, not material, assists the termination of this appeal. The cause is therefore ordered submitted without oral argument. Warren appeals the dismissal of his actions, characterizing the actions as follows. This action is instigated to determine who has the highest title of property located in these counties, Oklahoma Territory, state of which the United States of America by contract gave up all right, title, and interest in said property without any conditions set forth, and it is very clear that the defendant's pleadings that it is not that the entity that is claiming property stated that the claim is the United States and that the federal, so there's a land patent. Upon review of the records and arguments of the parties, the judgment of the district court is affirmed. Mandates issue forthwith. Okay, so see, it doesn't say what the yeah, I have to sit and read it tomorrow. But anyways, common law court. This document is going to be available in the Yahoo group. Shoot, how big is it? It might be too big. Oh, and here's another motion to dismiss with brief. Comes now defendant Jerry Wilkes. Moves to dismiss this cause of action pursuant to lack of jurisdiction over the subject matter. The court lacks jurisdiction since the subject matter has previously been adjudicated. Okay, so they even hired a liar. So this F.R. Johnny Johnston and Jerry Wilkins, they hired a liar, and it got overturned. That's interesting. And this is so you're welcome to download this document. I'm not going to spend a lot of time looking this thing over. I could spend a lot of time on it, but you're welcome to. This document will be it'll be either in the Yahoo group or I'll have it a link in the links directory. If it's, they limit me to 4 megabytes, and this might be bigger than 4 megs. Oh, it's 13 megs, so it'll be too big. I'll have to put a link. I'll be a link in the links directory of the Yahoo group. I'll have it uploaded to Google Docs. Brief and support of defendant's answer and motion to dismiss. So who did that? Let's see. Did I see something right? Yeah, note the difference in trial by jury in common law as to a trial with a jury in legislative inferior courts. That's right. Legislative courts are inferior. The judge is in the inferior courts and instructs the jury on what they will hear and decide upon and what they will not. All legislative courts are inferior, and they're all legislative. Oh, and that's done by the lawyer again. Certified copy. This is a something citation, and I can't read it. I guess that's where they served them with summons. Citations where they serve summons. Defendant's answer. And they basically said it's barred by res judicata, which means previously decided. And that's, again, a liar. As counsel for the plaintiffs, I'm writing to ask the court to reinstate this case. An order of dismissal was signed on September 19th. Plaintiffs never had an opportunity to be heard in opposition to the motion to dismiss. More importantly, the motion to dismiss is specious, so obviously it never got reinstated. Because this one is still there. It would show. Republic of Texas, private judgment, lien notice. This one's a lot easier to read. Notice all the jurors. signed it. Very, very important. These procedures are old as time itself, and so it have to follow the procedures properly to make it effective. One Supreme Court, United States of America. It's superior to any of these. I guess that's it. That's all the stuff. The important thing is that there's procedures that have to be followed to make these things effective. And that's what they talk about on these Jural Assembly calls. And so I highly recommend you go there and participate. And you can get justice for yourself. And you know, really, if you don't participate, then you're denying other people justice, and that's not going to go well for you on Judgment Day. Guaranteed, especially now that you know. And now that I did it, you know. Anyways, definitely it's up to you, but I am participating in a Jural Assembly, and I got lots of cases that I want to bring up. Have a great day.